trending in Jason's world.
So I was out walking my dog, D'Artagnan. Did you hear I got a dog? I adopted a dog in April.
Really?
Yeah, his name is D'Artagnan. And we often walk by this tiny little park near my apartment. It's not super close to my apartment, but it's enough where it's kind of in my neighborhood. And if I'm going on a nice walk because it's nice outside and D'Artagnan is guilt-tripping me because I leave him at home when I'm at the office, I'll go for a long walk. And we pass this little tiny sort of, it's like a parklet. It's not like a full-on park. It's a parklet. It's got some grassy areas where D'Artagnan turns brown, the grass. And it's got this little play area with this sort of, it's purposefully crooked, but it's a crooked structure that has a rope that you could, like a net that you can climb up if you're a child. It's got, a nice little bench. It's got some areas you can swing from and a little, I don't understand how this works, but it's a cement slide. I don't get it.
That sounds painful.
It looks awful, but that's what it is. So I'm there and, D'Artagnan is looking for a place to squat and he was having a hard time finding the perfect spot. And I go like this. And I look around, and I notice other people are doing virtually the same thing. Looking around like, where's that smell coming from? Because it smelled, I think the kids say, rank.
I don't know if they still say that, but
they did at one point. It means bad. This was the smell of weed that might as well have been D'Artagnan smoking it. It was that, like, surreally, I tasted it in my throat.
Pungent.
That's how pungent it was. I tasted it. And so I'm looking around. I don't see where it's coming from. And then I got a sneaking suspicion because only an idiot decides to build a structure in a park that creates a shelter. Because oftentimes that shelter is then taken over by whom?
Homeless people?
Yeah. And so I was right. I saw the dude with a blunt bigger than anything I've ever seen before. I've never seen a joint as big. It's like Snoop Dogg would look at this and say, I'm impressed.
Might as well have been a bong.
It might as well have been. I mean, it was huge. And he's smoking, his buddies next to him, both clearly homeless addicts. And they were just chilling, having the time of their life as I'm walking the dog. And, of course, there's no kids on this particular park almost ever. I can count maybe on one hand.
Can't imagine why.
Exactly. And so when I was done, I was feeling, and this is odd, I certainly concede this, I felt creative. I don't know why this made me feel creative, but I did. And last night, I was kind of in that groove. As you know, I enjoy writing, but I'm also, people might say that I'm funny.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Hey, you waited too. That was too long. I wrote a poem. It rhymes and everything, and I'm going to post it tonight at 6 o'clock on the blog at KTTH.com. I was going to read it here, but if I'm being totally honest, while I am proud of it, it feels a little off-brand, so I'm thinking I should not read it.
No, you totally should. Why wouldn't you?
Because it's not really what people know me for. They listen for snark, no doubt, but not necessarily rhymes, and I feel like I'm going to be mocked.
That's exactly why you should read it. It shows a different side of you.
Yeah, I don't think people want to hear that side.
Okay, maybe you're right. Yeah, don't read it.
Okay, fine. I will read it. My God, twist my arm. I even gave it a title, and it's kind of like Dr. Seuss. I can't use the language I use when explaining to my friend Jake from our sister station the kind of Dr. Seuss that I am. I'll share it with you offline, and you'll laugh and then turn me into HR. But it's titled, Where Kids Should Play, But Addicts Stay. In the shadow of Jeff Bezos, the city built a sweet spot. A playground for children, well, at least that's what they thought. With Amazon spheres just a stone's throw away, park leaders pictured cute children, all laughter and play. But welcome to Seattle, where dreams and businesses come to die. where homeless addicts declare, "This park is mine." A park for kids? Well, maybe someday. But for now, the unhoused have come to play. The smell of weed coats the air, a South Lake Union special treat. Forget the scent of fresh-cut grass, it's the stoner's smoky feet. Blunts as big as baseball bats, they puff without a care, turning the park into a drug den where no children would dare. But sometimes it's fentanyl that the addict will consume, as the park becomes a space for impending doom. Needles on the slide, the equipment left to rust, and a city that's lost its way along with our reason to trust. One dude's got the whole park under his reign. Flashing and pleasuring himself, he's lost in his brain. Brain? What brain, you may ask with disdain? It's long gone, traded for a one-way ticket to policies insane. Thank the Democrats, they legalized drugs, turning parks into havens for addicts and thugs. Oof, don't get me started on what they've done to the city and state. Their so-called progress has only sealed our fate. I take a brief moment to say Jason Rantz's poem. It's my SEO keyword. Without it, this blog would be in ruin. Gotta game the system, make sure it's found. 'Cause without those clicks, my snark's like Publicola. Readers barely around. Sorry for the detour, I'll get back to the park. Just know poetry is not my strong suit, but this is a good start. Though, let's be honest. While you're here, I should probably add more snark. Got sunny weather or a bit of light rain? That's when the homeless make the park their domain. Designers stupidly gave the playground a tiny roof and bench, ensuring the homeless would move in and entrench. And that's what they did, taking over urban Triangle Park, turning a Seattle's park staffer's dream into something so sad and dark. Kids, I don't even feel comfortable bringing D'Artagnan to this space, where safety and sanity have both been erased. Neighbors stroll by, but don't bat an eye. The park's for the people. They'll tell you, no lie. But where are the children? Where's the joy in their eyes? Oh, that's right. They're inside overpriced apartments safe from the homeless who are so very, very high. Seattleites don't seem to care about this despair, lying to themselves that Seattle is thriving, ignoring the truth, while the city's just barely surviving. Damage progressives have done to Seattle is hard to explain in a poem. But look around, and you'll see the chaos they've sown. Okay, that doesn't quite rhyme unless you mispronounce sown. But trust me, the mess they've made is clearly shown. Shown was the word that first came to mind in that last verse. Maybe because the city's decline feels like a curse. Phew, I just saved this poem, though I'm sure the stranger will find reason to jeer. At least when the city's crumbling, their propaganda is harder to hear. Progressives promised compassion. They preached it insufferably loud. But what do we get? Chaos wrapped in a fentanyl or a weed cloud. Parents, beware of this park. Don't bring your kids near, unless you're teaching them lessons and things they should fear. The city built nice things, but residents can't catch a break because here in Seattle, it's all give and no take. Well, that's not really true. The council and mayor take taxes with delight, funding pet projects while the streets rot in plain sight. Progressives promise the world, but deliver despair, leaving us to wonder if they even care. Seattle's a playground for policies gone wrong, where common sense and reason vanished and madness belongs. Ironic, then, that they gave us a literal playground. Laws in Seattle, they're nowhere to be found. A park meant for joy, now soaked in vice. Welcome to Seattle, where we can't have anything nice. But at least you get a Jason Rantz Show poem, something you didn't expect, a little snarky truth to keep Seattle's crises in check.
Wow,
I didn't no applause.
I thought I was producing for Jason Rantz, not Robert Frost.
I'm just saying I am a talent still yet undiscovered by some. After I wrote that, I wrote a little introduction for my blog at KTTH.com, and I couldn't stop rhyming. And I couldn't stop talking in that flow, that beat. It's very hard, that rhythm. And now I can't. I'm now my brain is starting to think of rhymes.
You had me like every time you would end a sentence, I was trying to think of what word you were going to use to rhyme with it.
Do you know how hard that was? Do you know how hard that was?
It was long.
It was. Well, hey.
No, not in a bad way.
I can't stop. It's just creative. It just flows from my fingertips.
I thought it was going to be like a few stanzas, but that was like Paradise Lost.
It was very good. You know, I could win an award or something for that. Just saying. Should we put that in for a Murrow? You think they'll appreciate it, or is it a little too conservative?
Yeah, and it's probably worthy, but the people that would be deciding, would probably think it's a little too right-wing.
People on the text said, read it. We want to mock you. That's mean. Is it mockable? Should I not print it?
I thought it was good.
I thought it was too. It's funny because last night as I was done, because I really don't normally write. Not that I want to call this a poem. It's technically a poem. It's not really a poem. I don't normally do that, but I felt compelled. I felt compelled. Now the 206 wants to handcuff me to the idea of writing poetry and do this every single Tuesday. You know, why don't you go do this every Tuesday?
That sounds exhausting.
What are you, nuts? How much time do you think I have? Do you know how much time I spend on this thing? You think I have an extra 2 hours every single Monday? I had a TV hit that ended up getting pushed, so I had some extra time. So I decided to sit there and rhyme. See what I just did there?
That was good.
Yeah, I know. Don't despair. More poems are coming. Something that rhymes with coming here. It's hard. I kept deleting words and okay, that word rhymes, but it doesn't make sense. Let me do another one. What's a rhyme? What's a word that rhymes with playground? You know how hard that is? 1-800-465